Why did you choose that specific lane in traffic this morning? Why did your boss offer you that specific raise and not $1 more? Why are you afraid to ask that person on a date? Every single one of these decisions isn't a random event. It's a move. Your entire life is a massive, complex, high-stakes game. And the problem is, most people don't even know they're playing. But before we learn to play the game, I have one request. Studies show that over 85% of the people who gain insights from videos like this never subscribe. If you want to stop being a pawn and start becoming a player, make your first move. Click that subscribe button. It's the highest payoff, zero-cost move you can make today. Done? Good. Let's begin.
When you hear the words game theory, you probably tune out. You think of complex mathematics, Nobel Prize-winning economists, or dusty, unread textbooks. Forget all of that. We are not talking about math. We're talking about a fundamental shift in perception. The truth of game theory, the secret hidden in plain sight, is devastatingly simple. Every single social interaction you have is a strategic game. From the boardroom to the bedroom, from the parking lot to a political debate, you are in a game. The moment you truly see society as a giant, sprawling chessboard, you stop being a pawn moved by forces you don't understand, and you start becoming a grandmaster. You start seeing the hidden code that runs the world. To play this game, you don't need a PhD. You just need to understand its 3 core components. These components are in every single interaction, from ordering coffee to negotiating a multi-million-dollar deal. They are the players, the strategies, and the payoffs.
First, every game needs players. These are the decision makers. This is the who. In business, it's 2 competing companies, like Apple and Samsung, locked in a perpetual war for market share. In politics, it's 2 nations deciding whether to cooperate on trade or escalate a tariff war. In your own life, it's you and your boss in a salary negotiation. It's you and your partner deciding where to go for dinner. Sometimes, and this is the part most people miss, one of the players is you versus your future self. When you hit the snooze button, present you, player 1, is winning a small payoff of 10 extra minutes of comfort. But you are doing so at the direct expense of future you, who now has to pay the price of rushing to work, feeling stressed, and starting the day in chaos. The single biggest mistake people make in life is what academics call failed theory of mind. They forget the other player is a real, thinking, rational agent. You are not playing against a wall. You are not the main character in a video game full of NPCs. You are playing against another mind, a mind that has its own goals, its own logic, and its own desired payoff. To win any game, you must stop thinking about what you want. You must start by asking one question. What does the other player want?
Second, every player has strategies. These are your available moves, your possible courses of action. This is the what. In a negotiation, your strategies might be make a high opening offer, make a low, reasonable offer, or wait for them to speak first. In a relationship, your daily strategies might be cooperate, help with the chores, be supportive, or defect, be selfish, and watch TV and hope the other person does the work. But here's the key difference between a simple action and a strategy. An action is just doing something. A strategy is a complete plan of action that specifies what you will do in every possible situation you might find yourself in. A simple action is, I'm going to bid $50,000 for that car. A strategy is, if they bid low, I will bid high. If they bid high, I will hold firm at my walkaway price of $52,000. If they try to act like my friend, I will remain polite but firm. If they try to rush me, I will slow down. See the difference? A strategy is a pre-built algorithm. It's about deciding what to do based on what you anticipate the other player will do. This is where true strategic thinking begins.
Finally, every combination of strategies from all players leads to a payoff. This is the why, the outcome, the result, the reward, or the punishment. This is what you get after all moves have been made. A payoff isn't always money, far from it. In the game of choosing a restaurant, the payoff is your satisfaction level. In the game of driving in traffic, the payoff is time saved versus stress induced. In the game of hitting snooze, the payoff is comfort versus panic. The best players in life are the ones who can accurately map out the payoff matrix in their heads before the game even starts. This simple grid is the single most powerful tool you will ever learn. It allows you to see the future. Let me show you how. Now, let's put all three pillars together in the single most famous and most important game ever conceived, the prisoner's dilemma. This one game explains war, peace, climate change, and why your last group project at school was a complete disaster. Here's the setup. Two partners in crime, let's call them Player A and Player B, are arrested for a major crime. The police don't have enough evidence to convict them on the main charge, but they can get them for a lesser charge. The DA is smart. He separates them. They cannot communicate. The DA enters room A and makes an offer. Here's the deal. We know you did it. Your partner in the next room is about to snitch on you. You have two choices, two strategies. Strategy 1, stay silent. You cooperate with your partner. Strategy 2, snitch. You defect and betray your partner. Here, the DA says, are the payoffs, the prison sentences. Payoff 1. If you both stay silent, we can only get you on the lesser charge. You both get 1 year in prison. Payoff 2. If you snitch and your partner stays silent, you're the hero. You walk free. 0 years. Your partner, the fool who trusted you, gets the maximum sentence, 20 years. The reverse. If you stay silent and your partner snitches, you get 20 years and he walks free. And finally, if you both snitch on each other, you both go down, but we'll give you a reduced sentence for helping. You both get 5 years. Now, what should you do? Let's analyze this rationally. This is the logical trap. Let's analyze this from your perspective, Player A. You don't know what B is going to do. You have to consider both possibilities. Scenario 1. What if B snitches? Well, if B snitches on me and I stay silent, I get 20 years. That's a disaster. But if B snitches and I also snitch, I only get 5 years. Okay, so if B snitches, my best move is to also snitch. 5 years is much better than 20. Scenario 2. What if B stays silent? Well, if B stays silent and I also stay silent, I get 1 year. That's pretty good. But if B stays silent and I snitch, I walk free. I get 0 years. Okay, so even if B stays silent, my best move is to still snitch. 0 years is better than 1. Do you see the terrifying logic? No matter what the other player does, your best move, your dominant strategy, is to snitch. And because B is in the next room with the same offer, going through the exact same logical logic, he will also choose to snitch. The result? You both snitch. You both end up in payoff 4. You both get 5 years. This is the dilemma. This is the tragedy. Because if you had just trusted each other and stayed silent, you would have both ended up in the best collective box, only 1 year each. By acting rationally and in pure self-interest, both players end up with a worse outcome for everyone involved. This is not just a game. This is everywhere.
Price wars, Coke versus Pepsi. The cooperative move is to both keep prices high and enjoy high margins, 1 year. But if Pepsi, player A, cuts its price, defects, it steals all the customers, 0 years. Coke, player B, must also cut its price to compete. They both defect, end up in a brutal price war, sell the same amount of soda, but now make half the profit. 5 years. A worse outcome for both. Climate change. This is the prisoner's dilemma on a global scale. The cooperative move is for all nations to invest in green technology and cut emissions. Both get 1 year. But it's expensive. The defect move is to keep polluting, which is cheap, and boost your economy. You get 0 years, while other countries pay the price, 20 years. The rational move for every single country acting in its own self-interest is to defect, leading to a worse outcome for the entire planet, 5 years. Doping in sports. If no one dopes, the competition is fair, 1 year. But if one athlete dopes, defects, they get a massive, unfair advantage, 0 years. The rational response for every other athlete is to also dope just to stay competitive. Soon, everyone is doping, the playing field is level again, but everyone is now bearing the massive health risks, 5 years. This game explains why trust is so hard to build and so easy to destroy.
So if we are all trapped in this game, how do you win? How do you escape the rational trap that pulls everyone toward the worst outcome? You do it by changing the game. The prisoner's dilemma, as described, has 2 fatal flaws that make betrayal the logical choice. You only play once. You cannot communicate. Your life is not like that. You play games with the same people, your boss, your partner, your friends, over and over and over. This is called an iterated game. And in an iterated game, the entire set of strategies changes. Game 1, your salary. The negotiation game. The mistake. You treat it as a zero-sum game. This means for you to win, +1, your boss must lose, -1. This is the prisoner's dilemma. You defect, demand more money, they defect, refuse, and you both end up unhappy. You're unmotivated, and they have a resentful employee, 5 years. The win-win, the non-zero-sum game. Your goal is not to beat your boss. The game is you plus your boss versus the problem. The problem might be low team efficiency or high employee turnover. The new strategy. You don't just demand, defect, you cooperate by demonstrating your value and solving their problem first. You go to them and say, I believe I can increase our team's output by 15% with this new system I developed. That would be a huge win for the department. I'd like to be compensated for that new value. You have now changed their payoff. Their best move is no longer to refuse you. Their best move is to cooperate, give you the raise to also get their best payoff, a more efficient team. You've aligned your incentives. Game 2, your relationship, the who does the dishes game. This is an iterated game you play every single day. The prisoner's dilemma trap. If you defect, leave the dishes, hoping they'll do it, and they defect, also leave them, the house is a mess, a bad payoff for both, 5 years. If you cooperate, you do them, and they defect, watch TV, you feel like a fool, 20 years. The solution. In an iterated game, a new strategy becomes dominant. It's called tit for tat. It's simple. Round 1, you start by cooperating. You do the dishes. Round 2, you mirror whatever the other player did in the last round. If they cooperated, they did the next chore. You keep cooperating. If they defected, they left you to do everything, you defect in the next round, not out of anger, but to teach them the rules of the game. You show them that defection has a cost. This simple strategy does something magical. It builds a reputation. You are no longer just player A. You are the player who always cooperates until crossed. This builds trust. And trust is the only force in the universe that can pull 2 rational players out of the 5-year box and into the 1-year box of mutual benefit and cooperation. You win long-term games not by being a shark and defecting, but by making cooperation the most rational and profitable move for everyone involved.
The truth of game theory is this. We are all strategists. The only difference is whether we are conscious ones or unconscious ones. An unconscious player is a pawn, moved by forces they don't understand, constantly ending up in the 5-year box and wondering why life feels so unfair. A conscious player sees the board. They see the other players. They see the strategies. They see the payoffs. This isn't about being cold or manipulative. It's the opposite. It's about having the empathy to understand what the other person truly wants and the intelligence to find a path where both of you can win. You are a player. The game is already in session. The board is set. The only question left is, what's your next move? If this video changed the way you see the world, my next video will break down the most powerful hidden game of all, the game of status. But I want to know your game. What game in your life did this video make you realize you're playing? A game with family? A game at work? A game with your own habits? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. Thank you for watching.